Hello. In this video, we are going to create our first project, and you can think of a project right now as a folder that's going to hold all of your different Python files. So you'll be able to look at your project is in context to inside your IDE. So we talk about a project inside of PyCharm, but your project is really just a folder on your computer. So when we're done this, one of the things I really want to make sure you know is how to see the folders inside PyCharm, because that's where you're going to be doing all your programming, but also where to find them on your computer. And we're going to end this with writing the mandatory first program you have to do in any language you ever learn, which is the Hello World program. And with that in mind, let's dive in. So if you open up PyCharm now, you might get the register product window, which you can click through in the evaluation mode, or if you have actually registered as a student or a teacher, you can kind of enter in the activation code. But regardless, you can click through, and eventually you should get to a window that actually looks like this or something like this. And what we want to do is create new project. So there's two pieces of information you need to give when you create a project. The first piece of information is where that project's going to live. So that is where are all your files going to be stored. And in my case, I'm going to save it on my OneDrive folder inside. So OneDrive, Appleby College, Planning, CS 2015-2016. And I'm going to make a folder called P3 Demos. Okay. So the reason why I recommend to put it on this cloud folder is that if you do lose your computer, everything is all backed up. You can do the same thing if you have a Dropbox account or any other type of cloud folder on your computer. The second thing you need is you're going to need the interpreter. And if you've installed Python 2 and Python 3, you can do a drop down and you'll see you'll be able to pick between either of them. But what we want is Python 3. So just to kind of clarify what this is we could think of this as that is where the instructions for how to compile or translate a Python file into something the computer can understand. Because even though you write a Python program in what looks like English, it needs to be converted to something else for the computer to interpret it. So it needs to know where the instructions to do that are. Now, if you've installed Python first, you should have this automatically show up. But if it hasn't, you might have to actually navigate to where this file is. So I'm going to take a second and show you how to do that. What you can do is you can say add local, and then your path up here. And there's a good chance you might not be able to actually navigate to it because it turns out this is contained inside a hidden folder. So what we're going to do is we're going to leave this for a second, and we're going to go into our C drive. And so we go C drive, users, whatever your username is on the computer. And then inside here, there's a folder called app data. We're going to view and we're going to look for hidden items because it turns out that's a hidden folder. So unless you actually change the view, you can't find it. So we're going to go into app data. We're going to go to local. We're going to come down to programs, and we're going to go to Python and the version of Python we'll be using. And there's that python.exe file. So what you could do is you could actually highlight all this. You can copy that whole line and then come back into PyCharm and you can paste that there and go python.exe. And then I hit OK and I've set my path. So that is how we actually set up our path. So those are the two things we need to do. Now you'll notice here that there is a whole bunch of things you can do. This is a professional level IDE. It can do lots of things. We're using it for one simple task, and that is to produce a pure Python project. So make sure that pure Python project is selected. Pardon me, I should have said that before. You only have to do this the first time, so don't think you have to do this every time you start up. So hit create, makes my project for me, and we're good to go. And you might get a tip pop up. So this is the folder where all your Python files are going to live. And right now there's nothing in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create my first Python file. And to do that, I can either say File, New, and I can say Python file, or I can right click on that folder, I can say New, and I can say Python file. So the first thing I have to do is I have to name my Python file. I program a lot in Java, so I have a tendency of capitalizing. So I always capitalize my files. So I'm going to call this hello world, and I'm going to go P3 for Python 3. And it should say Python file there, and I'll hit OK. And then you get a blank screen. So this is your editor. This is where you write your program. And the nice thing about this IDE is it's going to give you suggestions about how to fix things and change things. And you're going to notice the first time you click on a program, you won't be able to run it. This is the run button. This is the button that will compile and execute your program. But see how it's not activated right now? The first time we run a program, we have to right click and say run hello world. And it runs, and of course there's nothing in there, so the program doesn't actually do anything. If you're ever having a problem with your program with this button, it's always good to come over here and right click and just do it manually like that. So let's make sure we know where this file is, because if you wanted to share this with someone, you want to be able to access it on your computer. So again, if we go back into this, our Explorer here, we're going to go into my OneDrive, Planning CS, and if we come down inside Planning CS, there's that folder, P3 Demos. And if I click in, and there's my Hello World P3. So I'm going to do something here. Just take a look, watch that. I'm going to kind of shrink this window here. And I'm going to make another new file. So I'm going to say File, New, make another Python file. I'm going to call it Hello World GUI P3. And we'll do this one in our next video. And watch over here on the right. There it is. So I really want to make sure you understand this kind of the two worlds. This is our IDE where we program. This is our file system. So if you want to share a program with someone, all you have to do is take this file, send it to them, and they just have to copy it back into their own folder, and it will automatically show up here. Okay. With all of that said, let's write our program. So, really simple. To print hello world to the console, we use the function print. And I simply write the word print, and I put quotes, and I put the word hello world. Anything inside those quotes will get printed to the console, which is this screen down here. And if I hit run, there's my first program, hello world. In our next video, we're going to do a hello world GUI, which will be a pop-up screen. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Have a great day.